Hey everybody, welcome back to Weekends with Ace Silverfang. I am Ace Silverfang, and I just dealt with audio issues. If you saw that earlier, I apologize what happened. I restarted my computer to update it yesterday after the stream, and it scrambled all my audio settings, and I didn't realize it until right when I tried to... I didn't notice it had scrambled all my audio mic settings, so I had to go in and change everything across every program. So, yeah, that's a thing. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's going to be a late stream and a shorter stream because of that. Technical difficulties can't be avoided. Sorry. Oh, well, this trial's supposed to be over in a day anyway, right? Yeah. Farewell my turnabouts. This is where we left off. We were still in trial. The trial has been voted for a continuation on this very day. Let's continue here. District Court Defendant... Oh, March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Dude! I can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. By the way, I've accused her of being the one who killed Corridor. What was his name? Correda. That's it. His name's Correda. She's your manager. Yep. She is your manager. It would have been easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your Akama. Because she was the one who came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it was really her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Correda. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lord... Yeah, I bit my tongue. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude. Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impax's missing suicide note? Oh, sorry. Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impax's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impax for her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impax suddenly killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hit it is Juan Correda, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Correda. All to get the suicide note back. It sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. Why didn't he just destroy the note? What? Who was it that first told her about the Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impax. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Obviously not. We still have to figure out what's going on. Yeah. This is gonna go on for a while. And I have to get it resolved by the end of the day. I have a few hours. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court, Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ongar. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. No, I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter? Or was that a bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. Yes. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing me of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. Well, yeah, I've already told her. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well, then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. When I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And then there was his dead body. I was in shock. Oh, wait, the order of events. Unless... She went to his room twice. Once to kill him, then once to have an alibi. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. That's very odd, and the judge is right to catch on to that. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene, by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt your pacing. Disrupt your pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Okay. She's a cool, collected customer. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt. And what was Mr. Ungard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Ungard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me. It? What are you... Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. How to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Unguard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object. Right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. I wasn't even in the rest of that one. Wow. After that, I went to Juan's room. And why would you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was going to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further! Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon. What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? There was his dead body. I was in shock. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Cortada. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then what did you do next? Witness? I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Juice? Yes. There was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down, without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Cortada, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Press her further! What one thing? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime scene photo? This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over, where it fell into the guitar case. Okay, so that explains why water was on the guitar case. But why was it already a mess everywhere, but the flower vase wasn't knocked over? This gets us back to square one. Press first. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to. For Maya's sake. Okay, what evidence do I have? An article and a tablet from Gossipland. That won't help me in this, I don't think. Yes, I thought so! She said that it was already open when she got there. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what's so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. You testified it was already open. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the guitar case, the remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards would be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all? Objection! No, I think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Make her testify! the empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either, actually. But it's not the guitar. It's the case itself.
All right, I'll follow along. For now. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. Why did you touch the guitar case? I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
None of that makes any sense. Well, looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man.
Look, I'm just trying to do my job and get this case over with. I have a few hours. I can't really waste my time being insulted by all of you. Oh, dang it. There we go.
During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you were the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews?
Yes, it was me. Okay. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over.
Why? So, you opened the guitar case then?
Yes. Well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case?
Huh?
Mr. Corrida's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it?
I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case.
As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was all right or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic, it's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all.
Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. I didn't expect him to go there with that. He really needed to not say something so stupid.
As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body?
Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try.
Come on, Phoenix, we can't afford to let up on her now.
I wasn't planning on letting up, but...
She's at her weakest now, so this is our chance.
Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with.
I'm sure a weapon's hiding somewhere in the court record waiting to be found.
A weapon, huh? Now to get the order of events correct. She walked into the room, poured herself a glass of juice, didn't drink it, set it on the dresser, bumped the vase with her elbow.
shattering it on the floor, spilling water everywhere, on the top of the case.
Then she opened the guitar case for no reason.
Look at... No, wrong photo. Sorry, hold on. Let me look at the photo. Hmm. Hmm. Um. I do not have a lot of evidence. Hmm. Hmm. All right. I don't have a lot of options. So that's not it. Oh, that was it. There is no... Oh, right, the fingerprints. Corda's were the only ones on there. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Yep. It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. Yeah, it's a little bit of a... I should have realized. It did say that. I read that myself, and I didn't even go, oh, wait a minute. How'd she touch it with no fingerprints? I should have just thought. I didn't think. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left fingerprints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. Liar! I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems that the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's strange. You're wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that will prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Yeah. Your fingerprints! I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? I always carry another pair of glasses just in case. I like that. Glasses shatter. New pair. Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar. The Bright Red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presuppositions. Drop all of your presumptions. Yeah. If the guitar wasn't in it, but it wasn't empty, that just means that something else was in it. What was in the guitar case was not the Bright Red guitar. You don't mean... It was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit, it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar could... How would you... Bright black. What? So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
I think I know, but I really don't think I should tell anyone. I don't like this. Well, okay. Suicide note, yes. We don't need to worry about her because we're not saying that she committed suicide. We're just saying that the suicide note was there from her mentor. And why would something like that be inside a guitar case? Let alone this one. Why, Mr. Wright? What? Okay, well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? Yes, and never bring it out again. Okay, fine. Let a foolishly foolish fool get some love. Ha! Because she's not there to say it. Do you still think you can prove your theory? I do. Can you prove that the guitar case was not empty at the time of the murder? I wouldn't. Okay, yes. I can't prove it! It was a person! Had to be a small person. It was pearls! I have no idea. We have very little of what this. Okay, I'm running out of things that could have been in there. This! No. All I have now is a bunch of paper. I honestly have nothing else I can... All I have are a bunch of case files and papers.
Was it really a person?
I'm trying to remember. Was there anything missing? Aside from the guitar itself. I'm just gonna show all the photos to get those out of the way. What? What on earth was in there? I'm so confused by this logic. There was what?
Okay, hold on. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? Yeah, but in this picture. Gotta get more gruff. Yes.
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is...
Really?
What? I'm positive this is a possibility, but there's been nothing to hint that that's even been a case. This is the first time they suggested a second costume. Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Wright, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to do something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity, so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory.
Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative reporter who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! Order!
It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. Wow.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Wait a second. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on guard. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True, that is a little baffling.
Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts.
What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
It had to be a spare costume, because On Guard was wearing the costume the entire time. Mr. On Guard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one.
What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurada, was a Jammin ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What would be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point.
What are you bumbling to yourself about now?
Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain. Please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. I think I want to say... The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai's spare costume to the hotel was...
What is this? What is this?
On the night of the murder after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes. The Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet, however. I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt on Guard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you're pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set up. But the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. Unguard's is, Andrews? Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it was. What it is.
Ah, I see.
That's not only Juan. If Matt did it, Matt knows. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all.
Protect Mr. Unguard? Man, yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Protecting Matt. Really? From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That's just the nature of the business, dude. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Had a feeling? Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? You're a lawyer, you know this! Evidence! Motive! Means! A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, that's means, and finally, decisive evidence. Yup, like I said. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. Yeah, you're a lawyer. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, from what I remember. May I continue now? If they didn't teach you that in law school, then that school's the problem. So would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Matt on guard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews.
Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Fine, I'll take you down, tearing down your reputation as well. I destroy everything in my path because everything's built on lies. And I fight with the truth. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm not. Has Mr. Engarde done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Corridor with his press event, with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Engarde, yet you still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engarde, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Because you don't find the answer otherwise. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. What was he doing at the time of the murder? Napping? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engarde was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie, so you could cover for Mr. Engarde? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however.
The judge is glaring straight at me. Really? The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. Huh. Why is he glaring at Mia? You moron. Dang it, I thought he was glaring through me. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence. That's the first time she just called him a moron. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Gemma Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama. Isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Yeah. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me. Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you are not. And I thought I had it this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? Her! This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Engarde at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Corridor planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engarde as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now. But you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make your talk. Got it, Chief! I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Button. Button. Okay, there's no way this is the right answer, but I'm gonna guess it anyway. Because it's a reference of a button, and I have the button. Hold the button! Okay, that wasn't it. Like I thought. As suspected. I mean, I know what his motive was. We don't. He has no motive. So what was his motive? Unless his motive was to stop this. That's the only motive she's trying to provide us with. Nope. Wait. How do you know that? And the threads a button matched up for her and the rest for two. I meant to go left, not right. Man. No. Unless... It's got to be here at the button. But it's not the button. The knife is inconclusive evidence, but the button in the pleat is conclusive evidence. Oh, okay. Stretch. Man, I cannot. Okay, so it's bloody on the right side. It lines up perfectly. Wait a minute. It got bloody after he was stabbed. But he was stabbed after he died. Their entire case hinges on the button having been ripped off in the fight. But if it's bloody after being ripped off, fingerprints. Where's the second costume? Case is opened by her, she says, to get the costume out. Get dressed and then get out there. When she walked back to her room,
Dang it. This is clearly a contradiction. What do you mean it's not a contradiction?
She wanted to protect him, she said. Then why did she wear his costume to protect herself and not him? It implicated him.
Okay, fine. I'm a little stuck right now.
Well, when I saw the crime scene, I feel that was the murder. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right.
You were his alibi. what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. And then I saw that, okay. Okay, I'm gonna press everything again to see if there are any body language clues. If I hear a ping or I see it go to anyone other than these two. 3 things? 3 things? Okay, so they're saying it's the motive. Okay, so the motive. Motive. I think it's motive. As for... But do I actually have any evidence for the motive? No. My brain hurts. No way. No, I didn't think so. I didn't think that was it. I'm out of ideas. Juice! No. Okay, hold up. I'm stumped. This is dumb. I can't, for the life of me, figure out what the answer is. So I'm going through everything, piece by piece. I don't know. The last of my caffeine, but it's not helping. Sorry, I've been sitting here in silence. I've been trying to think of what on earth it could have been. I've went through every single event of the murder, right down to, according to her events. So either, now what we know must have happened, at least somewhat, is they both ate. She went to get working on everything. He went to bed, take a nap. She went in, found him dead. Someone's lying, definitely. Okay. To me, it sounded a little wishy-washy. Press a little more. Got it, June. Wait a second, we still didn't... How'd she open the case without leaving fingerprints on it? But she left fingerprints on the wine glass. Yeah, I thought so. I thought I did this. Did I do it on the wrong one? Aw, man. I used the autopsy on the wrong spot. I thought I used it on the button spot. It's what I said earlier. The victim was strangled to death, then stabbed, which put the blood on the button, but then he wouldn't be struggling, so the button had to be taken off after the struggle. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of... What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it? To pin the crime on guard. Why else would it be found on him? There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. There is no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. Oh, crud. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard. Oh, the real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard is... I have no other suspects. My only suspect is Adrian Andrews. But I don't think, logically, she's strong enough to strangle Mr. Corrida with his own scarf. I don't think she's strong enough to do that. I think he was stronger than her, so it would have been a lot harder for her to do that. But I do think it's the right answer for this exact scenario. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you! You are Mr. Corrida's killer! What? Order! 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 Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his own room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such an incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the scene of the crime. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's the only piece of evidence I'm not sure of. That's because she did not intend on leaving any fingerprints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic Dave discoverer of the dead body. Ah! And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? You're the one who challenged me to all my evidence. All of it points to you. I've got her this time. I think she's about to break. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to test about something if it can incriminate me. Well, dang. She used law against me. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing the witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Yes, that's... Okay, he knows what it is. Yeah. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. What are you talking about? Everyone always goes, I plead the fifth. Although granted, you don't usually plead the fifth because it means you're guilty of something. Which means she's guilty of something. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Unguard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood. Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? I am a little low on evidence, yes. What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? I proved who the murderer is! Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida. Oh, crud. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking a defiant attitude again! Mia, what should we do?
Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. And the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true!
In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial,
tomorrow?
We don't have a tomorrow! If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then...
Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for?
Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Edgeworth, it is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes. And? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a dead body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
When I found the body, that glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was just sitting, slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Okay, that actually makes more sense.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on inside that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
glass of juice didn't really pour for myself. Who would you pour for then? But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there was a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed for you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, you deserve that one. I didn't think you'd ask that stupid question. I was surprised when I walked in the room and saw, okay, a messy state. So, it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Corona? I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next to this? And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Okay, so that there is my first clue. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought didn't even cross my mind. That he was dead didn't even cross my mind. Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all? To be honest, I thought he just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. You thought he fainted? I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice. Yes. He always had a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next? When I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked, and staggered backward, and knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. Huh? This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance, yet, to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? Slumped over. This is the part that Wright said felt off. It's either this or the knife. So it's not this, which means it's the knife. I think. No, it's neither, apparently. Hold up, I got another thought. Not the knife. There it is. Yeah, he had a knife in him. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you first discovered the body? Ah! Yeah, the knife!
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Cora's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. That here was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now. It was all one giant lie. Ah! And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. No!
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matangard, is not guilty after all.
That's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
Well, you're now possibly convicted for murder, so that or incriminate yourself for something lesser. I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matangard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matangard.
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. I knew it.
The absolute real truth? What are you...
Witness, do you understand? Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted the silly idea in your head. But as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Madame Guard will go free, and in its place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it will be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francisca von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Matt and Guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this! But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority. And it wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan.
Help! Please! Someone help me!
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? But what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet! How dare you! You try and trick me!
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop.
Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop. Please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. Well, I kept my promise. Edgeworth outed her. Jeez. I have the evidence right here.
That's
the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop! I beg you! If people find out, how?
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk, but please help me. Nothing matters anymore.
My crime.
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why That's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Bit of an inconvenience. I bet you saw a lot of... Stab the body? With a knife? Why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again. Just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
Yeah, now I get to do this. Oh, great. Okay. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is part of the Gemma Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife, and ripped off the button. Oops. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip off one of the buttons, and then plant it in Mr. Ungard's hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes that was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for one. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. I don't want to concede, but this testimony it rings of the truth. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, please, don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes. I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there.
And what is this secret?
That I don't know. Anyway, I thought if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
But I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Engarde's room and planted the button.
Into Matt's Hakama. Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Engarde. Yesterday, that women prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisca, huh?
She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
Why do you think... What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor! The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. And that is all. Court is adjourned for today. The judge is gone. We're still in the courtroom. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright.
I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room? That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body.
You horrible woman! You grabbed the killer's calling card and never reported it!
It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
It has every relevance! You idiot! You also are a moron! Phoenix! Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. As far as a clue to this case, I don't see why... Hold it! Witness! That card. Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, yet inadvertently done? Yeah! Thank you! Edgeworth! Mr. Brains! Ah! This! I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
I didn't mean to. What is this all about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? To be continued. And this really is to be continued because I don't have time to continue it. We'll continue this next time. Because that is, as was revealed with the fact that, see, Maya also found that card when she picked a lock to she used it to open the door to get out. So, it's the calling card of the killer. The assassin, the hitman. Oops. So I'm going to say this here. And we're going to call it a day. Because I cannot possibly continue. I don't have time. I have things to do, places to go. Belchers to belch. Excuse me. And I'm wrapping it up. So I hope you all have a great week. I look forward to next time when we finally start chasing down the killer. I remember this from the anime really well. Like, this part, where it's like, no, I had to solve the case in one day and I couldn't. I knew I wasn't going to do it in one day. Because I've seen the anime. And this one is very featured in the anime. It does several episodes of this one trial. It's really great. Really fun, too. And really true to form. Like, it's gone exactly. I mean, with the exception of the little Easter eggs for the game, but... yeah, they did a good job translating this into an anime. And... I know who dies and who doesn't die at the end of this case. But I'm not going to tell. So, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great week. I'm looking forward to next Saturday when we continue this. Until then, be well, everybody. I hope to see you next time. Peace out, all. Bye.